at the Pontotoc Ridge-Flatwoods branch experiment station near Pontotoc, Mississippi. There's about 640 acres here on this research station, and we're in the hills of Mississippi, and our research program is very diverse and covering the agronomic crops of corn, cotton, soybean. But today we're going to talk about a soybean promotion board project. This is the second phase of this project. The first phase, we started out, we noticed we had some nutrient deficiency here on the station. Identified that to be a potassium deficiency. We looked at both spring and fall and spring applications of potassium in soybean as well as corn. Mainly trying to validate our soil testing recommendations with a public and private lab, with the public lab being Mississippi State University. One of the reasons that we think these laboratories are making different recommendations is because that they're basing those on the yield potential of a certain field. Or the grower says, hey, I believe I can produce a 70 bushel per acre yield versus a 40 bushel per acre yield. So they'll recommend two different levels of fertility based on what they want to get out of their crop that year. So what we've got out here are not just 4 different lab recommendations, but we may have 2 lab recommendations from one lab. Some individuals have mentioned that the reason we have different higher levels of fertility recommendations from these different labs is because the newer varieties are producing a higher yield and they're mining more nutrients from the soil. So we wanted to look at some of these later varieties versus the earlier varieties that are not genetically enhanced. So we've got a conventional soybean variety and a genetically enhanced soybean variety. If you have a potassium deficiency, one of the things is you need a soil test. And depending on where you send your soil sample to, you may get a different recommendation to the level of fertility your crop needs. So we're trying to validate if all the labs are good, or if there's one lab that is going to save you money, because that's our bottom line, is to help the producer maximize his profit at the end of the year. So we're just trying to help and answer some questions based on fertility needs of the crop and the recommendations we're getting from different labs.